So this is called a skimmer filter. So essentially, where the pumps stay for this pond. So it's kind of disguised underneath this lid here. So there's 2 pumps in this plastic tub. So what you're seeing first is just what's called the leaf basket, and that just easily lifts out, and that just catches all your large debris, your leaves that may come in there, so they can just be dumped out. But once a week you need to do this or just check it out, see how it's doing. Then below that there's a filter pad that's going to just clean the debris from the pond. It's also preventing the pumps from getting clogged. So the pumps aren't in the bottom of the pond where they're going to get algae and leaves stuck to them. They're protected by a basket and by a filter pad. This thing here in the center is an overflow. So any rainwater, excess water, is going to go out the overflow and then into the existing drainage pipe that was already here with the center. So it's always going to maintain the proper water level. So very easy to maintain. There's a little skimmer door, much like what you'd see on a swimming pool filter. So it keeps the level of the water, helps it skim properly. So the basket just drops back in there. So that's really your main maintenance. Just once a week, you're just checking out the basket. Sometimes you can just sweep your hand in there and take out any large debris, or take the basket out and dump it. And then about every 2 weeks, pull the pad out, rinse it, put it back in. So this is called a waterfall filter, a biological filter.
The biofalls.
The biofalls. Yes. So what you get out of that is not only a beautiful natural looking waterfall, but also a filter. So in here, just like the skimmer filter down below where the pumps are, there's 2 to 3 filter pads in here that you just pull out and you would rinse off once or twice a season. Again, very minimal because this is a biological filter, so you want it to maintain that biological activity by not disturbing it very often, because that process is keeping your water clear.
So bacteria lives in there. It's just like a fish tank. Right. You know the canister filter on a fish tank? This is just a big canister filter for a pond. The biofalls. What's cool about this though is what you'll notice is this is a plastic tub, but you don't see anything that's plastic, right? You got rocks, you got plants growing up, you got exterior plants. The whole goal when you're designing a water feature is that you don't know where the water ends and the land begins. So it's a lot of stone when you're first done. This has only been here, what, 6 months?
Yeah, about 6 months.
But the plants are already starting to fill in, and when the junipers grow it down there into the rocks, and when the rest of this spreads out, this whole thing just looks naturalized, and that's the goal. You don't want to see plastic, you don't want to see rubber, you don't want to see pipes and plumbing, but the biofalls is always the start of our water feature, and it's a solid container, and as the water flows up through the filter pads that are in there and the bio balls, that's where the bacteria live, and it works just like it does on an aquarium, and it flows back and circulates. Now because this pond has such a heavy load with, you know, the turtles getting fed a lot and everything else, we decided to add a wetland filtration, a bog system to this. So we'll show you that one over here. So this entire area is the wetland filtration. We probably, went down 4 feet?
4 or 5 feet, yeah.
Here. So this, even though you only see, you know, 4 to 5 inches of water on top of this, this hole goes down another 4 feet. And at the bottom of the hole, go ahead, Jeff, explain what this is.
Yeah, so in a bog filter, a wetland filter, we're using gravel and Mother Nature to filter the water. So the water is entering from one of the pumps that we talked about in the skimmer filter through the centipede snorkel. And what that's doing is it's slowing down the water and it's letting it percolate through all these little holes to evenly diffuse the water up through the gravel, and then the gravel is going to become the filter. So that's what you see here, different sizes of the gravel, very large over these openings, and as we get towards the surface it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's different grades of filtration for the bog filter.
So this disperses the water, goes out through. As the water flows up, it gets filtered. Basically this is a much larger biofalls. A wetland filter or a bog filter with a snorkel and a centipede. So right here you see the centipede, the snorkel, where do we put that, Jeff?
It's actually underneath that little rock there.
Oh, right here. Okay, so that allows us to have a channel that we can get into, and once a year we can back flush this. But we only clean the biofalls, we only clean the bog filter typically once a year because the bacteria is growing in there. We do it before the season starts, usually when the water's its coolest in the spring, and we just wash it down, back flush it. But all the plants in here, the roots are growing, they're growing into the bog filter, they're going to actually filter the water, all of the gravel, and then it just natural flows. And then especially for these turtles, this is a great place for them to come and hide and forage because there'll be a lot of insects in here. This is the way nature intended it.